Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Cody here, Mended Woodworks, and today we are going to be transforming this cedar fence picket into a chick-nic table. Now, chick-nic tables are a great source of income. They're super cheap to make. This cedar fence picket cost me about $4, and I say it cost me about $5 to make the table all together, when you count in the screws and the brad nails and the glue. I rounded up to about $5 to make, and I've been selling these for $25 so a piece. So out of one $5 thing, you're making 25 bucks. It's a pretty good deal. I've been getting some orders in, and I just got another one today. So we are going to build this guy's table right here for you guys to watch. Now, I got this table idea from, I think it was Matthew Peach on YouTube. I think he made a video of him building one. I just kind of followed along on the video and kind of copied it. So this whole design is his. I'm just kind of cashing in on it. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, first thing you're going to need is a fence picket. This is cedar. It does not have the dog ears on it. So yeah, this is pretty easy stuff. This is a 6-footer. So yeah, anyways, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. First thing we're going to do is take it over to the table saw, and we're going to rip it down. We're going to rip it down 4 parts, and one of them is going to be 1.5 inches. Then we're going to do 2 at 1.25 inches, and then we're going to do the final strip, should be about 1 inch. So yeah, I'll meet you over at the table saw, and we'll get started ripping this bad boy down. Okay, so now that we got all our strips cut, we're going to start cutting them on the miter saw to bring them down to their final lengths. And yeah, so we're going to cut them to length, and then we're also going to add some angles to it, some miters on them, to give it kind of a more professional look. You don't have to do any miters if you don't want to, other than the legs, but even those you could do straight if you wanted to. I'm just doing it this way because I think it looks better. So first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to grab our 1.5 inch piece that we cut, and this is going to be used for the tabletop, the actual bottom part of the tabletop. So we're going to cut these down to 16.5 inches. So we'll run it over to the table saw, or the miter saw, cut these down to 16.5. Alright, so now that we have our base pieces cut, we're just going to kind of lay them out on the table, on the workbench. You're going to have 4 of them side by side. And so now we can make our measurement to cut our side pieces, which will stand up like that and kind of trap all these 4 into it, create a mitered box around it essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a quick measurement on my long to long, which I know is 16.5, and then we're going to go over and take our 1.25 inch piece over to the miter saw, and we're going to cut 16.5 short to short, if that makes sense. Okay, so I went and I cut a 45 on the long side, like that, and I'm just gonna line it up. It's gonna be 16.5 short to short, but it also kind of helps just to kind of line that edge up there, and then you can come on this far side and just strike a line to kind of give you a better idea on an exact measurement. Okay, so now that we got our line, we're gonna go over to the miter saw and cut that out. Okay, so now that we have all of our side pieces cut, we're gonna kind of sandwich these bottom parts into there and just create a mitered box around the corner. We're gonna go ahead and put glue between all these boards on the bottom, and we're also going to add a little bit of glue on the bottom edges of there where those are gonna meet up, as long with each mitered joint. And then we're going to go ahead and brad nail them using an 1.25" brad nail all the way around. Okay, and then it should look like this when you're all said and done. Now we're gonna go on to get the legs cut. So using all the legs, we're gonna go back to the 1.25" that we had. We have 2 slices left, so all of our side pieces will use the 1.25". So on these, the first thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna measure out, I think we're gonna do about 8.5 inches for our legs. So we're gonna put them on the miter saw flat, and then we're gonna cut a 30-degree angle on each end that are parallel with each other. Now that we have all the leg pieces cut, we're gonna go ahead and take our legs and we're gonna put them tip to tip just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our top piece, which came out to 7 1/8 long to long, and we're gonna put the points facing upwards and just kind of line it up. And I take and what I like to do is I take the back of the panel here, and this middle line, I will line up the 2 points to it and set it that way. See if I can get a good angle on that. Okay, so what I do is I just kind of eyeball getting those angles there. That's kind of where it's gonna sit. And then I take these two ends, which will line up flush with each side there. So what we're going to do, add a little glue, add a little glue, and we're going to brad nail these into place using 1-inch brad nails. Same with the other pair of legs here. Just kind of line it up on that seam. Like so. Add some glue. Add the top piece. So now we're going to do the long stretchers. These, I'm just going to go ahead and measure up from the bottom, the inside of the bottom here. And I just use this inside edge, mark a line, same here, mark a little reference line. You do that on both legs, and then same thing, we're going to have the pointy side facing up, and I'm just going to measure it out. I grab it on the inside part of the leg there. This one came out to 5. So this is about centered. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it comes out to right about 5 inches from the inside edge. I'm just going to add just a little reference mark at the bottom here, so I know where that wood's going to land on each side. Roughly, now this doesn't have to be perfect, but now we're going to add some glue. A little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue there. Grab our piece here. And put it on. Just kind of line it up with the reference marks. We're gonna brad nail it down. What we do on one, we gotta do on the other. Legs. Pretty cool. So now, with that one piece, we cut it down. I cut these to 17.5 inches long. They're 1 inch, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark 2 inches. And what I usually do is I'll just mark 2 of them, one for each side there. And then once you put the one on, you can just kind of eyeball where the second one will go. These are for the bench part. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I put the bump out part facing outwards. That, and then I'll use a little clamp. Kind of hold it standing upright. And then I'll take one of our pieces and I will put that 2 mark right on the outside edge. And we're going to use a little bit of glue here. Just try to line it up the best you can. Then we can take a brad nail, pop her in, and then we'll take this other end here and kind of do the same thing. So now that we have the main base, we can take our top, flip it over, and we can place the bottom on. Just kind of even it out. It should be about 2 inches. I'm going to draw a line here so I have a idea, oh, well, it's kind of a line, where I can put some glue. Then I can line this back up. I'll mark this side. Forgot, gotta put glue on this side as well. And then what I like to do on these is I'll get one side tacked in because it might not be square right off the bat. So I'll kind of tack one in place here. Then I can flip this whole thing over, kind of get it all squared up, make it look nice. I come in right on the edges here and here. Add screws to it, and we'll put one in every piece here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my drill. I have no idea if you guys could see any of that. Sorry, I'm not really good at this whole videotaping stuff. So anyways, we made a mark and we're just gonna pre-drill some holes into the top. And then what I'm gonna use are these screws here, whatever they are. And then we're just gonna screw down into here and connect the base, connect the top to the base. Easier if you pre-drill on the back side first. Like do your mark out, and then like pre-drill, and then just like this, flip it over, and All right, and there you have it. So cool little chick-nic table there. All said and done. So what I'm gonna go through is I have some blowouts. So I'm gonna go through and just kind of trim it up and clean it up just a little bit, but I'm gonna let this guy know that his chick-nic table is done. And yeah, if you thought this was pretty cool video, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That'd be cool. Like the video and help a brother out, you know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.